Open your eyes. Wake up, Link.
Welcome everyone to another new series on my channel, and this time we are taking on Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild. This is a rather massive open world game where you are running around and getting all sorts of stuff.
That
Starting off,
is a Sheikah slate. Take it.
we're getting a Sheikah slate.
It will help guide you after your long slumber.
Essentially, it's a glorified iPad. We get to use it for all sorts of stuff throughout the game, and it is very useful. And for one thing, it helps us open doors. But before we go out and do much of anything, we really need some clothes. Not going to be able to get very far in just our skivvies, after all. So, get some pants. Get a shirt. And we can just jump into our inventory and equip them right up. Not a whole lot there to be excited about. You can also pick some stuff up, throw it around. These barrels break very easily, but there's not really anything inside of them. So just run up to here,
Hold the Sheikah
activate
slate
this,
up to
and
the
open the
pedestal.
door.
That will show you the way.
And there we have our way out.
Link, you are the light. Our light. That must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go.
Oh, you are certainly going to be doing something out here. But it's going to take us a while to get where Zelda wants us to go. I can just jump right up here, climb on out, and take in this magnificent view. And yes, pretty much everything we see here, we are going to go and visit at some point in our journey. But it's going to take us quite a while to get everywhere. So, first things first, someone over here to talk to, and we're going to need some stuff to defend ourselves with. Also some food. Shelter would be nice, but that's not really that important in this game. So first thing we grab is a tree branch. Not exactly the best of weapons, but it'll do in a pinch. We also have some Hylian shrooms here, which are very nice, and will be very useful later on in the game. For now, well, they're still pretty useful, but not as useful as they will be. Mostly because of how easy they are to come by. Grab another tree branch. I don't think we're going to need more than one of those at the moment. And now let's go grab some apples and see what this guy has to say. Fortunately, apples grow on trees, so they are very easy to find. Give a bit of health when you eat them. And they're very, very common. Well met, stranger. It's rather unusual to see another soul in these parts. Who are you? Me? I'll spare you my life story. I'm just an old fool who has lived here, alone, for quite some time now. What brings a bright-eyed young man like you to a place like this? Where are we? Answering a question with a question. That is fair enough. And I cannot imagine our meeting to be a simple coincidence, I shall tell you. This is the Great Plateau. According to legend, this is the birthplace of the entire kingdom of Hyrule. That temple there. Long ago, it was the site of many sacred ceremonies. Ever since the decline of the kingdom 100 years ago, it has sat abandoned in a state of decay. Yet another forgotten entity, a mere ghost of its former self. I shall be here for some time. Please, let me know if I may be of service. Well, I see a baked apple on the ground. Can I have it? I beg your pardon. I do believe that is my baked apple. You can't just go about taking whatever you please. Forgive me. I could not resist pulling your leg. Please help yourself. An apple and an open flame make for a succulent treat. Yeah. First little hint of cooking that we get. As you could see from that, when you bake something, you get more health from it. At least as long as you can eat it. Well then, just help yourself to that torch there. And how, may I ask, are you planning to use it? To set things on fire. That is rather unnerving. Please be cautious with that around any dry grass that may catch fire. You know, there are plenty of monsters in this area. That torch would make a good weapon if need be. However, do not just swing it around without purpose. You must face your opponents and lock your sights on them. And this gives us the tutorial for locking on. And previously we had the tutorial for switching weapons. If we wanted to, we could use the torch to come over here, light this pile of wood, and sit by the fire there. Now we just picked up a woodcutter's axe, which is very useful, in that it lets you chop down trees. If they have fruit in them, those will come down as well. And one final whack turns it into a bundle of wood. Not all that useful throughout the game, but it is definitely useful on occasion. Now, another secret we have right up here. You run up here, jump off. We have our first introduction to the Koroks. You're not Hestu, but you can see me? I didn't know your kind could see the children of the forest. Well, if you run into Hestu, please return this to him. So, that's one of the big side quests we have here. We are going to be running around looking for hidden Koroks, getting Korok seeds to get something special along the way. But we'll get into what that is later.
Link. Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
I'll get there eventually. When you pull that up, you see that we now have an objective marker on the map. We want to go there to advance whatever quest we're currently following. For now, though, there are a few other things I want to grab. First things first, I want to climb up here, grab this rusty broadsword. No, this isn't the Master Sword. It is just what it says. a rusty sword that breaks very easily. Next step, going to jump down here and grab a Hyrule base. Another good cooking ingredient that gives you a fair bit of health back. Worth a fair bit of money if you cook it up and sell it. And it's going to be necessary for a little bit later in the game. Now then, let's swim off this way. Climb out. And take a look around the temple for a bit. See. Now we can run up here just a little ways. Now we see a bunch of ruined statue-like things. You don't have to really worry much about these right now. They're not going to come to life and shoot at you. But that's not always going to be true. Now there's our first enemy, a bokoblin. They always drop a horn. Well, almost always anyways. And many of them have a distinctive weapon associated with them. Most of the time when you take on enemies, that's where you're going to be getting your extra weapons. Weapons break in this game, and they break very easily, so you want to make sure you're constantly grabbing whatever weapons you can, and are prepared for what comes up. Oh, I spotted a couple more guys up here. And they're going to have a few things that will be very nice to have very soon. So I'm going to sneak up here. And they're not seeing me yet. Grab the spear. Grab the spear. Take a little bit of damage, but overall that went very well. Get a fang, another horn. Go ahead and equip one of the spears I picked up. Might as well grab the torch because it's always good to have a spare until I run out of inventory space. And here we have our first shield, a pot lid. When you have a shield on, you can use it to block incoming attacks, which is going to be very useful very soon. But for now, it's just a nice little boost to what we otherwise would have. Come over here, seared steak. You come across fresh meat and cook it, that's what you get. Some spicy peppers. And this is a good time to get into the cooking. So first things first, use the torch. In order to cook, you need to have a lit cooking pot. Just say a cooking pot with a fire under it. And you can get all sorts of stuff by combining all manner of different ingredients. And some of them have different effects. This combination, for example, gives us a little bit of healing. Well, 3 hearts, which is a lot of healing right now. And it'll protect us from cold. Mix it with an apple. Slightly different recipe. Gives us a different name. And same net effect. Now, I have something else in mind to keep me warm through the parts where we need warmth. So I'm just going to cook up a couple pairs of mushrooms into some mushroom skewers, and then I'll use those to heal up later. I think that'll do quite nicely. Now we just make our way over here. There's not really much for us to do inside the temple itself right now. So I'm just going to go right past it. However, there's a nice little hut over here. Which is going to have a few things for us. A few things that are going to be nice to have. I don't quite have a good setup to take these guys on yet. Fortunately, we don't have to. So right over here, climb up a little bit. And get another type of mushroom. These particular ones, when used properly, will increase your movement speed when you eat them. Which is very useful. Yeah, these ones restore your stamina when you eat them. Which in some cases is extremely useful. Another place to cook. And don't really have anything in there right now. Oh well. Do have a pitchfork, which is basically an upgraded spear. Speaking of which, let's switch over to that. We'll be back by here later. For now, let's continue exploring a bit. See what it is we can find and grab. Well, we can get some honey there if we want to deal with the bees, but I don't think that's too good of an idea right now. Don't have much armor, and don't have any ranged weapons at the moment. So there's a lot we're not going to be able to do for a little bit at least. Definitely don't want to deal with the guys there yet. I'll just run along. Oh, and there is a guy down here. Let's see if we can sneak up on him, shall we? Well, it doesn't look like he's noticed us yet. Nope. So we get a nice sneak attack. Deals quite a lot of damage and is very useful for taking enemies out very quickly. Get some trousers there, which may not sound like a lot, but they do help improve our defenses by a fair bit. Not really enough to make much of a difference right now, but enough to eventually do something. And let's make our way down here where we have another bit where we can use a bit of the physics engine to take out some guys. All you need to do is walk up here, push this down, preferably without following it up, and lots of stuff goes boom. Takes those guys out without having to deal with any of the fight. Gets us another seared steak, and a couple more crafting items. One last thing to do. Well, two if you count catching a butterfly. And just sneak up on them. They're not that difficult to grab. And we can sneak up on these two guys. Now, because these guys shoot arrows, you can pretty easily just stand in front of them, take out your shield, and let them whack it with arrows for a bit. Which... I think I might go ahead and do. Black. That's pretty much going to be enough for me for now. And that gives us our first couple of bows. And when you pick up a weapon that they were using, they actually react to it. Which makes things kind of fun. He probably should have focused more on defending himself than trying to grab his weapon. Now that we have another shield, we can switch to it pretty easily. Got another sword there, which is a lot more durable than what we've been using. But still not the most durable thing in the world. Now there are a good amount of arrows here, which is good because we're going to be going through them pretty quick throughout the game. And I think that's going to be a good place to wrap things up for this episode. We've come a little ways into the world, started to get some of the stuff we're going to need to get by. And next time, we're going to get more. So until then, Magius out.